What's up, my people? It's your boy Ish, and you're listening to the new and improved podcast, Loudly Saying It. So it's no longer called Apparently with Mr. Gander. So just go ahead and join me on this new journey as we talk about life, relationship, business, and every other topic you want to talk about but are afraid to talk about. This is for the black man. This is for the man who knows that certain topics cannot be discussed because of what society has done. Or society has created this myth that, hey, this is taboo, we don't talk about it. And if you just think you're just too manly to talk about stuff and you go, nah, son, I'm too manly to talk about this, I ain't about that life. Look, you should be about that life. There are things that are affecting you and you're not talking about it. So this is what this podcast is all about. We're going to be talking about those topics and other topics. But I am excited about the new podcast. So join me as I go along. I'm going to be getting guests on, co-hosts, and the wife is going to feature. The bro is going to be featured. So I'm excited about all that, guys. Ridiculously. Anyway, let's go and let's do a little reintroduction. So maybe you guys have forgotten about me. So let's reintroduce ourselves, all right? My people, first, let me thank those of you who stuck with me throughout my first go at podcasting. And also welcome those of you who are joining me on this journey for the first time. If you don't know already, the first podcast was called Apparently with Mr. Gander. And I just didn't like the name. And let's be honest, your boy wasn't doing his thing. For months, I had only 5 or 6 episodes. And for those of you who trusted me enough to jump on and say, hey, let me listen to the first episode because I'm curious, because you probably heard about it on Instagram and you said, well, hey, I liked the first episode. Let me go ahead and listen to the second episode. And you're like, oh, I really like the second episode. And then you jump to the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. And you're like, hey, what's going on? No more episodes. I apologize for that. Forgive me. You see, I came to a point in that first try where I realized that something was missing, and I had to dissect everything to figure out what the missing piece was, and it was the name. No, I chose Apparently with Mr. Gander because a lot of people tell me that I use the word apparently a lot, and then I figured, well, why not name the podcast Apparently with Mr. Gander? So I did. But look, I went back to the drawing board, and I really asked myself, what did I want to talk about? What was the message that I wanted to put out there? And who did I want to target? And I figured out that the people I want to target are black men, because society has done a lot with us, man. It's ridiculous what society has done to us. And we've been taught there are certain things that we don't talk about. So I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what the podcast should be doing. We should be talking about the topics that black men should be talking about but are afraid to talk about because of whatever society has said. Take mental health, for example. We don't talk about it, but a lot of us need therapy. And if we don't talk about it out loud and we don't tell people about it, we don't tell the brothers about it, the ones that really need that therapy are never going to go to therapy. And it's going to affect not only them, it's going to affect their family. It's going to affect their loved ones. It's going to affect their friends, everybody around them. That's a topic that we don't talk about. So I'm like, okay, cool. So if this is what I want to talk about, what am I going to name the new podcast? And I'm like, man, we need to talk about these things out loud. And I'm like, bingo, that's it. Loudly saying it. So these topics are no longer going to be talked about in secret. We're going to loudly say it so everybody can hear it. And those who really need to hear it can hear it and get the message. Then I thought about it if I wanted this to be a PG podcast. And I'm like, nah, it's not going to be a PG podcast because of certain topics that we want to address. Take sex, for example. If you really want to address the topic of sex, you can't do a PG conversation when it comes to that. So hopefully I'm going to be bringing Reba the Diva again. She was in one of the very first episodes that we did. I believe it was the second or third one. And we're going to dig deeper this time around. We're going to go really deep when we talk about sex and all that stuff. And we're going to talk about incarceration in this country, how that affects the black man. We're going to be talking about things that I've come to experience, things I was not exposed to several years back. Maybe just because where I lived in Augusta, Georgia, I kind of just lived in my own like my own small cocoon, and I wasn't really exposed. But then I came to the DMV. Shout out to the DMV, and now I'm out here. I'm seeing these things affecting black men and men of color. That being in my small corner in Augusta, I never saw that in the South. Even though the South is even worse, because now I have a broader view and I can see more of it. Just looking back and saying, wow, I really never noticed that. But now I notice all that stuff. So those are things we're going to be talking about. Relationship with our parents, relationship with our significant others. We're going to be talking about sexual orientations and all that stuff. That's going to be covered under all this. We're going to be talking about politics, how that affects the black man. We're going to be talking about financial freedom, hustling, business, education, whatever the topic is that affects a black man, we're going to address it. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about in this new podcast. And the setup is going to be different. I know back then we had for the culture, the talk, throwback, and all that stuff. Now, this is going to be 3 topics. First one, second one, a third one, and then at the end, I'm going to ask the guest, co-host, or myself, like, what is one issue that is affecting black men that you want to loudly say, and that you want to talk about how and what you're doing to change or help bring that issue to light, or what are you doing to stop that from happening, and how can the people, which is you guys, help either my guest or myself or my co-host bring that issue up or help change that issue, or whatever it is we need from you guys, and how you guys can promote that on social media. So that's it. That's what it's going to be about. And let me just go ahead and give you guys a few reasons why the change happened, and some of the lessons I've learned so far since doing the change, or that caused me to change the podcast. So one of the biggest things that happened in that space of time when I had done some episodes but never posted them, published them to now, was me realizing that I was heavy on the imposter syndrome. Like, it was killing me because I felt like everything had to be perfect before it gets published. So I went through tons of recording, tons of content, deleting them, trashing them, just because I didn't feel like it was perfect. Even though I was watching these videos talking about it doesn't have to be perfect, just put it out there. If people like it, they will come, blah, blah, blah. And I believed that thing, or at least I thought I believed it in my head. But then I wasn't acting upon those advice. I was not doing it. I was not doing these things. I just kept saying, well, the podcast needs to be perfect. The interviews, like, this information is missing. Maybe I need to reach out to the person again so we can redo it, blah, blah, blah. And these people are busy. They've got lives. They got things to do. So I killed all those episodes, over 10 episodes, just because I had that imposter syndrome heavy. And I also started fearing that things that I've done in my past was going to affect my podcast and all that stuff. Like, man, what if people found out this, or people found out that? What if this? What if that? What if someone said this or someone says that? How is that going to affect? And then I kept overextending myself. And I was like, okay, I want to do this podcast. I want to do this. 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 And I'm like, wait. Let's just hold on and let's just bring everything to a stop. You know? Ish. take a step back, look at all these things. If you think all this is a mess, let all this go and start anew. So that's what I did. I gathered all those content, put them in one folder, and trashed the folder. And then I emptied my trash. And that was it. And then I realized, like, wow, I don't need to be perfect. Even though I said that in the last podcast, like, oh, my podcast is not perfect, I'm not perfect, and all that stuff, I did not really believe that. But now, I really, really, really believe that. Like, I don't need to be perfect. I don't care what people are going to say or people are not going to say, because I have a new declaration. And that's what's driving me forward. So it's exciting to feel that you're no longer anchored to things that were stopping you. So let's really explore this. I want to see how this goes. But the next topic, I wanted to really talk about declarations, And if you listen to or you watch my AM Talks on Instagram story, you probably already heard about this declaration, which is that you're worthy of success and forgiveness. And so that's what I really want to cover in this next topic, and see how that's going to help somebody out there. Hopefully it does. Well, like I said, I wanted to talk about the declaration that helped me free myself of that imposter syndrome. And that was, I am worthy of success and forgiveness. You see, I struggled so much when it came to accepting that I was imperfect, because I don't know if it's because that's how I was brought up, that everything has to be perfect. You have to be the best of the best of the best. You have to be in the top 5, or if you're not in the top 5, blah, blah, blah. And once I realized that it's fine for me to be imperfect, it made me realize that, hey, it's fine for me to demand forgiveness from myself. I am worthy of being forgiven of whatever it is I've done to you. And I know sometimes we're going to hold on to stuff, but look, it is also a healing process for us to forgive people. And sometimes people have forgiven us, but we've not forgiven ourselves. And if we don't forgive ourselves, then we basically put ourselves in prisons, and prisons that we can't escape, mental prisons. And then I also started realizing, look, I have a unique story to share. I have a story that nobody else has, because I am nobody else. I'm me. I'm Ish. My story is not your story. Your story is not mine. So this is the medium I created, a medium for us to share our stories so everybody can benefit from it. I'm going to share my story with you guys, and I hope you guys are going to share yours with me, so I can learn from your story and you can learn from mine. And together we can be better because of the stories we learned from. And I also accepted the fact that even though I have all these flaws, there are people that still look up to me. And I'm not talking about my kids. I'm talking about people out there. People that when I show up, they say, Ish, man, I'm so glad you're here. This is what's going on. I was like, yo, Ish is going to have the right thing to tell me. She knows exactly how to process this and all that stuff. And then I started realizing, like, oh my God, people actually do look up to me. Wow, that's crazy, Because I'm here thinking like, man, I'm not worth anything. I'm not this, I'm not that. And I have people hitting me up. It's like, oh, Ish, I miss you. Like, you always had the right thing to say. Like, you always kept me sane and all that stuff. Like, man, it's hard not talking to you as often anymore, or not seeing you because of X, Y, and Z, because I've moved up, to a different state or whatever. But I miss you, and I just want to keep in touch, because just hearing some of the things you say helps me a lot. People out there actually think I help them. And here I am telling myself that I'm not worthy of any of this. So that reinforce the declaration that I am worthy of success because other people believe that I am. So if you're out there today and you're questioning yourself if you're worthy of success, let me tell you now that you are, because there are people out there that already believe that you are. Maybe it's time for you to catch up to them. If you're out there thinking, well, can I be forgiven? Yes, the answer is yes. You can be forgiven. Maybe you need to forgive yourself first, but trust me, you can be forgiven, and you're worthy of forgiveness. Don't ever let somebody tell you that you're not. You are. Look, if the Creator can forgive you, look, what these other people think really don't matter. So, one more thing that I had to accept was that I have impacted people's lives in a positive manner. Just seeing these people, maybe people I've mentored, people I've worked with, people I went to school with and stuff, and they're telling me about the impact I've had in their lives, and I'm like, wow, this is ridiculous. It's mind-blowing, you know? So it takes letting go of that imposter syndrome for me to see all this. Is this a little somber? I don't know. But hey, somebody out there today needs to hear this. You need to know that you're worthy. So, thank you for listening to the very new podcast, Loudly Saying It. It's your boy. I'm going to talk about one issue that is affecting black men today. I'm going to say it out loudly. That issue is this idea of being a real man. Everybody has their own idea of what it means to be a real man. And unfortunately for the black man, it's even worse because there's certain things we don't do because real men don't do that. Real men don't cry. Real men don't show emotions, blah, 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 whatever it is that we've been lying to ourselves for generations now and we don't do, but we should be doing. So that's the issue I want to talk about today. And what am I doing in changing that? Well, the podcast, really. That's what I'm doing. So how can you help me change this idea of what a real man is? Share the podcast. If you have people that can be awesome guests, send me the info or send them my info. Like I said, you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Ganda. That's MR_GANDA. Or on Twitter at Mr. Ganda. That's MR__GANDA. And you can jump on the website, loudlysayingit.com. That's LOUDLY sayingit.com. And send me a message on WhatsApp. If you don't know WhatsApp, download WhatsApp, man. You should be on WhatsApp. Like, they're not paying me for this. Facebook is not paying me for this. Hey, Facebook, if you want to pay me, my information is on loudlysayingit.com. I'm just saying. But anyways, send me a message on WhatsApp. Shoot me a DM. Slide into my DM, people. And I know this podcast, I said, it's for black men, but look, my guests are not just going to be black men. They're going to be women. They're going to be everybody. Anybody that can talk about something that's affecting a black man, you're welcome to be on the podcast. And to all the sisters out there, the black queens, you're beautiful. I love you all. Anyways, it's been fun, guys. Let's go out. Let's get ready. Next episode, it's going to be crazy. I'm going to have the wife join me for an episode. And I'm interested to see how it's going to go. Yeah. We're going to be talking about relationships. And you guys are going to find out more about us and our story. And hopefully you get to share yours with us. Huh?